All right, summer fams, friends, fans, hooligans, unruly gangs, you are right here with Oh Wow the Cherubim on the No Friend Zone Talk.
Feel this spot till it's over.
Oh Wow the Cherubim and right here in the No Friend Zone.
Them long father come crooks and tanker King Daddy. CP record. As the girl them see me, the whole of them just like get wet dry.
Today we are going to be going into religion, and the figure that we'll be talking about is Jesus. Now, to many, it's a realistic person who existed many years ago, millennia ago, 2 millennia ago, and to others, it's a figurative thing. It's a character. But let's kind of evaluate some things about this person to see how it ties in and of course can improve your life, because there are so many that is down with worshipping the figure and expecting something to fall from out of the sky by damaging their kneecaps on the ground and clasping their hands so tightly together that it's like super glue is starting to develop between their palms. Now, where this thing is concerned, let's look on the name itself, Jesus. All right. For one, it's Hebrew, so it's supposed to be where the J is silent, right? For some people, they'll be like, it's Jesus or Yahshua or whatever. Now, if the J is silent, and we are to say it like Jesus, but without the J, it would be He's us, right? Okay, let's look into this because this gets interesting. Now, if He's us and there's a point in his life where he was just Jesus and then he disappeared and he came back in his 30s, pretty much, there's a part of the Bible right here that I checked out. It's the Gospel of Luke, chapter 3, verse 23, where it says Jesus was about 30 years of age at the start of his ministry. Now, when he came back, he became, then of course, it was this journey into becoming the Christ. Now, what is the Christ? The Christ is pretty much the new and improved version of the man himself. Now, if this person is supposed to represent us as human beings, and he went through that process, it definitely ties in a lot with of course, our journey in life as well, right? We've been through so much, we've seen a lot, we've grown from our juvenile or primordial, I'm not going to say primordial, but more juvenile stages to adulthood. And with that, we should have gotten smarter, wiser, and know how to navigate this plane more accurately. Now, let's look at the miracles that took place, right, when he became the Christ. Now, before getting into the miracles, I know that I'm getting into other things before I get to the main part that I'm talking about. Ministry. Let's look at ministry. Ministry, according to how things happen in society and all these different institutions, which in many ways are considered ministries, they appear to be agencies that set up to do things for you instead of you doing it for yourself. So in other words, they're kind of there to rob you of your self-dependence. Yeah. So if you are starting your ministry, it should mean then that it's a stage of self-dependence, right? You depending on yourself to develop yourself. So you using your experience and knowledge to navigate this plane and go about developing yourself or accomplishing what you have in mind for, of course, making yourself better and your surroundings and people, etc. All right? So let's get into these miracles now. Now, one of the miracles of Jesus is turning water into wine. Now, that's symbolic because water is a tasteless substance. It's a tasteless substance. And if you're coming from a situation where your life was tasteless, you weren't in the position to improve yourself, to make your life be of joy and flavor and all these things that make you jovial, happy, and able to, feel accomplished. A sweet life per se. And wine is sweet. So it's pretty much, in a sense, moving from the state where you're unaccomplished or unable, incompetent, and unable to do things that will improve your life to become sweet. So you are in a tasteless position. All right. Where the miraculous catch of fish happens. Wouldn't that be the state where you have become so improved? You're like an expert, where the movements you make tend to produce superfluous results. Yeah, superfluous results, because you know exactly what you're doing and how to do it. So it's not where you're wandering around and of course, just guessing. You know exactly what you're doing, and you know how to get the result you're looking for. So it will be a miraculous catch. The next one is feeding the multitude. This is very easy. If you are not in a position to really be helpful, you can't help anyone, really. You can't help anyone. And just having mouth to offer encouragement isn't going to do much for people who've heard it all the time. I mean, anywhere you go, people are always there to give advice, but the advice doesn't help, because it's not as though you've been in a position where you are earnestly seeking for this advice to change your life. It's not as though most people who are getting the advice actually asked for them. And it's not as though they were in such a turbulent situation where they are going to, be like earnestly seeking to use this advice to better their life. What's the next thing? Walking on water. Now, this is very symbolic of not falling in deep waters. If you have improved your life so much, it's going to be way less likely for you to fall back into where you're coming from, to get wet by all these storms, to be flooded by all the storm that has happened, that you faced. You'll walk above it because you know what to avoid. You know how to swim now. You know how to swim so well you can float as well underwater. Yeah, that's the point. So walking on water is really staying out of deep waters. Let's look at calming of the storm. If you've become so improved, so much better than before, it also means that you have great control over your emotions, over your activities, over yourself. There's great self-constraint. And you will know exactly how to go about de-escalating turbulent situations. That's pretty much it. All right, so this Christ also rose the dead, the dumb, and the blind. What's the dead? The demotivated, the unmotivated, the uninspired, the lazy, the lethargic. People who pretty much are goalless and have no ambition. Yeah, you will go through certain stages in your life that's going to show you that you need to step up, or else you are going to fall. Your end is going to look way worse than you can possibly imagine. And all that's going to lead you further into that pit when you realize that you are now at a stage where you're completely unable to make a 180. Those things will be regrets. They are going to eat at your soul, right? So the dead is definitely going to be risen when they've reached that point of realization. What's the dumb? It's not just persons who can't talk. It's persons who are stupid. It's persons who are stupid. Stop talking crap. Yeah. You'll have smarter and wiser conversations, wiser, calculated conversations when you've lost this incapacity, or this state of incapacitation. Yeah. And life is going to lead you to that point where you realize that you need You need to lose it, or else you're not going to become anything of substance. There's the blind, of course, person without vision for seeing into the future more clearly with vivid intention and stern adherence to planning. Now, there are some other things about Jesus which definitely shows more reasons why it's sensible to really see that with that J being silence, it's he's us. No, Jesus said that he and his Father are one. Well, Jesus Christ, because it was at the point when he became Christ that he said that he and his Father are one. Now, what does this mean? When you're Christ, you've gotten so much to your highest self that it is pretty much the full potential of your brain capacity. Your brain is just like a deity. It's something that controls, destroys, and creates you, just as a God. Your brain controls you, it creates you, and it destroys you. It can destroy you, as in the case of an insane man. He's lost his consciousness of what things are all around him, and he's no longer the same person. Actually, he's in hell. He does a whole lot of stuff that persons with good consciousness would not do, and he suffers and doesn't even know. That's hell. He's destroyed. How are you created? The way you are 5 years ago is not how you are right now. Chances are you're way better. And that happens with your mind. For it to be a consistent thing, it's not just help from someone. Oh yeah, in the case of ladies, of course, that can happen. But she still has to use her sense, or else she's going to lose the man. You got to be very cooperative, very feminine, and shut up. Have a lot of these capabilities that's able to, of course, create a happy, peaceful home that thrives and allows the man to continue to provide safety, protection, all these forms of providences, right? So these different things. And of course, controls, well, if the brain stops or whatsoever happens in it, where disease and etc. is concerned, it's going to control your activities, right? So the brain is pretty much your God. What else? Said when he's going to be caught up in the clouds. Have you ever looked at the brain before? Doesn't it look like the clouds? It also have a similar color. It's gray. It's gray. The gray matter. It's the clouds. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can look at some very genius artists that existed, like Michelangelo in the cathedral. You can see some of those artwork. And Adam touching the fingertip of God. Doesn't that say something? The thing around the God and the cherubims, or the cupids, was shaped like a brain. Look at it. But all these things definitely pinpoint something, that Jesus is definitely, he's us.
Feel this part till it's over.
Oh wow, the cherubim and right here in the no friend zone.
Them long father come crooks and tanker King Daddy. CP record. As the girl them see me, the whole of them just like a wet dry.